All right, we're back. All right, we're back. You guys wanted to bring up Young Thug. Once again, I'm not from the streets. I stand on the curb and watch the streets. And I find that the streets are very cumbersome. They are nothing like the streets of old. These are dangerous times for those who are claiming, to be from somewhere and represent somewhere and defend this space that, this real estate usually that they don't own. They're finding out that not everybody is gang gang. Not everybody is who say they're for you is for you. I mean, if you're not paying attention to what's going on out there, the homies are switching up on each other and taking each other up out of here. The guys who are close to you are the ones who are plotting on you. And it could be for one reason or another, because of your leadership role, because of your success, because, you have a beautiful woman. Men are always envious of other men with beautiful women because they feel that they are the better man and, all the lips and hips should be theirs. So a woman can get you off real quick. And now we're finding out that women are backdooring men. Just saw a story where a woman was dating a man, set him up to get robbed. He ended up getting murked by her baby father. So that was really, really tragic and horrible in every way. Because there's one dead and there's two in prison, probably going to do life. Because it was accidental, but the robbery was intentional. It's just a robbery gone wrong. But she thought it was going to be a robbery, but the baby father was already on deck to do, the most, and that's what happened. So now when it comes to Jeffrey, Young Thugger, he's got a real problem with loyalty from those who he pretty much, guided. The prosecutor, they'll do anything to keep you in prison because that's their job. So they openly said that, or he openly said that, look, during the hearing for bail, he's like, look here, we have several of, Thug's underlings, people who pretty much work for him, who are, affiliated with him, and some who aren't affiliated with him, saying that we are afraid of him. We're not about to speak against him. We're afraid of him because he will have us and our family taken up out of here. Now they're saying this as if it happened before. Once again, this is not one person saying this. And this is not a person who's a civilian. If I said it, in a situation like this, that I got wrapped up in some kind of way, if I didn't want to be a witness, and I said, listen, I'm a civilian. This dude is known for knocking off people and their fam. I don't want none of that noise. I don't know how, I don't operate under that guise. I don't know. That's not what I do. I walk around and pick up pennies and have a great day and pray and hold Jesus save signs on the avenue. Talk to people about, dinosaurs and stuff. No, I'm not that dude. I'm not that guy. I'm not him. So for me to sit there, they go, well, you're just not in this life. And I'm like, no, nothing to do with it. But we're talking about people who are in the life. We're talking about people who got tattoos, people who are affiliated, people who are in the inner sanctum, who broke bread. You know what I'm saying? Plotted. They know the drill. They've seen it firsthand. They know what it is. And probably, there are a lot of people, not necessarily this group, but there are a lot of groups that are formed out of fear. So if somebody is the local badass, then that person gets, starts getting people who are like, I want to be part of, whatever you got going on, because I feel like you can protect me. And this happens often to people who are not necessarily looking to be the leader, or not just yet. They're looking to be led until they can, get into the system, infiltrate the system, get knowledge on how things are done, how to move, and then set up their own shop. You might have a bunch of alpha males who are being beta males because they realize that there is a process to all this. If you just jump out there, you're going to end up getting clipped. So you need to get respect from somebody who already has respect. That way, they can put the word out and say, this person is with me. Now, a case that happened to me, I've told this story before, I'll tell it again, just for inference. I was 15 years old, and a dude I knew, big dude, played football for Pitt, took me to one of the worst places in town, but this is where he was from. He's like, come roll with me. I was like, cool. Took me to a party. Some young lady who was my age saw me, and, she was cute. We got chatting it up, and then some guy who liked her, wasn't her boyfriend, but he liked her, came over and said something to her, and so she left. Then he went and got two of his homies, came over to where I was sitting at, and got my face and said, yo, you talking to my girl. And all three of them was looking at me, and of course I like to crap my pants, because for one, this is not my part of town. Two, I'm not that guy. Three, I'm outnumbered. All right? And I looked at him, because I've been under pressure like this before, and I kept my cool, and I was like, nah, I wasn't trying to talk to your girl. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he said, okay. And he backed up, went on about his business. After, I got my composure, I stood up, I went over to the biggest guy in the room who was with me, who brought me there, and he was an adult. And I said, yo, these two guys, or this guy over here, just came over here and said this, that, and the third. He said, who did it? And I was like, those guys right there. He went over to those guys and he said, don't none of y'all say nothing to this dude. He's with me. And that was the end of it. I got respect from somebody who had respect, because I was somewhere that nobody knew, or that I did not know, and nobody knew me. Now they all know I'm with somebody who is respected in that community. So I just couldn't walk in the door and like, where the ladies at, I get beat up, and that would be that. But if I walk in there with somebody who's got respect, and women respect him, so women respect me, that's a whole different animal. You understand what I'm saying? The street is like that, just like that. You can't walk out in the street and think you're about to set up like Omar. You're not going to do it. You're not. I promise you, you're not. Somebody is already working that block. And listen, it ain't got to be a block like you're standing on a block. It's a block like whatever you're doing. I don't care if it's an office, atmosphere, whatever you're doing, you're not going to set up and boom, it's just you. Somebody's going to be like, yo, we already got this on lock. If you want a part of it, you got to come up under somebody's wing. It's the way it is pretty much in any situation. Anybody who's a millionaire, billionaire will tell you that. They all came up under somebody and they had to respect that somebody. I saw a video where a woman was talking about, as a young lady, pretty too. She was like, listen, you girls who come up into these clubs, you young girls, come into these clubs and hit on these old men that are up in here, you better watch yourself, because the old women up in there are watching you. And if you don't show them respect, you're going to have a problem. And that is very, very true, because those older women already know the deal. They know who you're talking to, what you want from them. They know what these men want. They probably got kids by these men. And, although they're not with these men, they are still heavily respected. That's just that. You come up there with your young self thinking you're going to toss some tail to some of these guys without paying some respect to these women who they already got kids by, you're about to get your face lashed. It's going to be bad for you. You're about to be taken outside and dragged by a bunch of women who are your age, who already understand that. You got to come up in there, talk to one of the older females, have some respect for them, and then they tell you exactly who you can talk to and who you can't. Because if you talk to the wrong man, you might end up losing your life. That's just it. That's just how it goes. So in this case, we finding out that these guys who are saying that, hey, Thugger's dangerous. He's a dangerous person. We're finding out that they're saying this out of one, respect, two, out of fear. You have to understand, the way these streets are nowadays, even if you have somebody who is seemingly at the top, there's somebody over that person. And they're not in jail. You're in jail. Not only that, there are, and I'm not talking about just this case, there is somebody over somebody over somebody. And those people know you. They know your family. They know your every move. They're watching you. So if you go in there and you say something against the wrong person, even though they're locked up just like you have, your little sister, she's 16, she in high school, she might go missing. Tell me it doesn't happen. We know that it does. She might go missing, and ain't nobody gonna touch her. They're not going to SA her, no, nothing. She just might not be at school and home for about a good 2 weeks. She's fine. She's fed. She's in a nice place, but she cannot go home. And you know what? She's gonna understand why. She's not gonna sit up there and give you a mouth. She's not gonna curse you out. She's not gonna say what her brothers and cousins is gonna do. She's gonna shut up. She's gonna eat, sleep, keep herself clean. She's gonna say yes sir, no sir. She's gonna be very respectable. Nobody's going to try to get between her legs. Nobody's going to put a finger. Nobody is going to touch her. She is more protected there than she ever will be. However, she knows that if this thing all goes wrong, she can forget about her next birthday. Tell me it hasn't happened, because we know it has. You gotta understand what you're messing with. And I'm not just talking about Thug's case. I'm just talking about just the streets alone. Because I don't know a lot about Thug except his music, and I don't really listen to his music. But I know people in the street. When they want something, they got ways of getting it. And if you turn on them, they got things that they just do to you that just messes you up. Thugger is in big trouble. He's in big trouble. Jeff is in big trouble. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't think that they were just after Thug. I'm going to tell you that right now. When they went after 6ix9ine, they wasn't after 6ix9ine. They was not after 6ix9ine. They was after Shotty. That's who they was after. They was not after 6ix9ine. They was after Shotty. Because he was leading the pack. And a bunch of them other cats. That's who they was after. 6ix9ine was just a way to file RICO charges. Hell, Jeff even though these guys were doing were allegedly doing things on the street that's pretty crazy, shooting at cops and all this kind of stuff, and they're tied in with other groups that live in that same city. I mean, this thing it's big. This is not a small event that's happening between just two guys. Look, and here's the thing. Thugger probably knew he was about to go in. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of that dude, what's his name? That dude that made the song about driving the SRT. I forgot what his name is. But he's their enemy. And they went and picked him up because of the shootout. When that shootout happened and it was caught on camera and they could identify the two cars and the people who were in and out of those vehicles, when that happened, Thugger should have been like, I'm about to go in. I'm going in. And as soon as they got old boy, what happened? He went on suicide watch. When people like that go on suicide watch, they know it's a wrap. I'm in trouble. This is not the place I want to be. That dude was on suicide watch. He was wearing a whole vest. He's trying to, he's trying to do? He was trying to get isolated. Put me in a 6x4 and I'm good. Put me in this joker because it's bad for me. He's on suicide watch. And Thug should have thought, I'm about to go. It's about to happen. Because these guys are interlocked. They're two rival gangs. And once you are in a broad daylight, open shooting with a bunch of other guys, once this happens, you are what? A menace to society. And the police look at menace to society a whole different way than they look at other crimes. A menace to society is somebody who will put other people in danger who are innocent. You're having a shooting broad daylight, brazen. You don't care who gets hit by a stray. You're a menace to society. We have to take you off the street. And when they take you off the street and they find out that you belong to any gang affiliation, they're going to look at your rival gang members. And when they start looking at your rival gang members, they're going to listen and look and see everything that they're doing, and it just trickles downhill. They're going to be like, oh, so You guys are the ones who've been out here doing this. We didn't even know that until we opened this door. Now we see who, triple third B is. We never even heard of y'all until now. Or we've been heard of you, but we didn't really have a need to pick any of you up until now. We found out that you guys had something to do with this. You were affiliated. And once you're affiliated and you're doing these blatant crimes where the city is not safe, you're a menace to society. It's time to come get you by any means necessary. In other words, RICO charges. Especially when you write lyrics talking about F the judge. F the judge. This is in your lyrics. They took your lyrics to your songs and said, this is what you said. Not a ghostwriter, not somebody else who wrote the rap and probably said it a year ago and then passed it to you. This came out of your mouth because we can push the tape and listen to it. 8 years? He ain't gonna do 8 years. Listen, they've been on cast. They've been on cast. I remember them talking about cast last year. Hell, I'm a civilian, and even I knew they was on cast. He ain't gonna do 8 years. But then again, it's 8 years. Now, if it was 38 years, he wouldn't do 38. But then again, what they get him for? See, I don't even know what they got cast for. But it sounds like, if I'm just going to take a guess, it's the same thing. You're affiliated. You might have said something that was involved in a crime. Remember Slim Shady said, told you to get a gun and shoot at a cop? I just said it. I don't know if you do it or not. Slim Shady can't say those things now. You can't say those things. You cannot. You cannot say something and it influences somebody else to go out there and do it. You will take the blame for that. I just said it. I don't know if you do it or not. I remember, but probably was affiliate. Yeah, I'm thinking it's affiliation. See, a lot of these big members, a lot of these guys who are rappers are using their affiliation for clout. Clout equals money in today's world. 15, 20 years ago, you would never go outside and brag about the stuff that you did. This is a whole new thing. But people get off on how dangerous you are. See, Black, in my day, a bad dude was just a bad dude. He ain't say nothing, he ain't have to. We knew who the bad dude on the block was. We knew the dude on the block that people were going to run from. We knew who had the reputation. We knew who to fight and who you don't even fight. There's one dude that nobody wanted to fight. His name was Jamil. And nobody wanted to fight him because he had a huge family. And he could fight. And I remember him telling my neighbor, who was a big dude, stop talking that junk. Right on the basketball court. He was like, yo, stop talking that junk. That dude, shut up. When I say shut up, I mean he said nothing else. Nothing else. He shut his mouth. And that was that. That was that. There were just some dudes who ran by themselves. I remember this one dude named was Carl. Carl. Okay? That was his name. Carl. That's it. Not Carl Slap Your Mama 1. His name was Carl. That was it. He had a beautiful sister. That's it. His name was Carl. And his sister was out there. Yeah, everybody knew his sister liked to get it on, but when I tell you that this chick was absolutely gorgeous, she was gorgeous. But everybody knew that she liked to get it in. But not one person said anything about it to Carl. Carl used to walk around. When I tell you this dude, he was probably about maybe 5, 10, 11. Skinny dude, walk around with a smile on his face. Laugh like that. Like that. He'll beat the lights out of you. And it was just him and his sister. It wasn't him and a whole gang. He didn't have a whole gang of family. Not one person fought that dude while I was living there. Not one. He was notoriously strong and was known to beat the lights out of somebody. Carl. Okay? That was it. Was it. There were just some bad dudes in my neighborhood. And if you wanted to get with any of them, you better bring the noise, bring the funk, because these guys can fight. They know how to rumble. They know every trick of the boxing trade. They're gonna do something to you that's gonna leave a mark on you. And when somebody finally did decide to come in our neighborhood, they bring a couple other dudes with them and dogs. We had one dude, his name was Eric. Big boy. Had another guy named was Doug. He was the biggest dude on the block. He was just as cool as he wanted to do. He would teach us about lifting weights and stuff like that, and working out. That's how cool this dude was. But he was a big man. He was a big boy. Ain't nobody wanted with him. And he used to walk around on his toes like this. What y'all doing? Y'all playing basketball? Let's play. He was the biggest dude on the block. So some guys from up the street, some muscle-bound assholes with an ugly sister, decided they wanted to come down and rule our block. They wanted to find the biggest, baddest dudes on our block and beat them up. And they would jump them. But when they got to this dude, he was fighting them back. He was tossing their asses around. He was tossing their asses around. He didn't care about the dog, no nothing. So while he was fighting the two big guys, the third brother, there were 3 brothers and 1 sister. The third brother was a skinny dude, pulled a gun on him. Mind you, I was 16 when this happened. You didn't pull guns on people back then, but they pulled a gun on this one. He said, and when I talked to him, I said, I heard about what happened to you. He said, yeah, they pulled a gun on me. He said, but I'm going to get him now. And those words are what ended his life. Because he wanted to get a 1v1 on the dudes who jumped him. Well, they caught up to him again. He wanted to get his one on. Well, they had other plans. He was too much of a threat, so they ended his life. There are some bad dudes out there, trust me, who look forward to getting jumped. Doug was one of them. Because you couldn't beat him in a 1v1. It wasn't going to happen. He was too fast, too strong, way too big. These guys today, they don't weigh nothing. But they carry what they call extendos. And that's their protection. Well, you ain't got extendos when you go into the Bing. When you in the Bing, it's these. It's different. So when they go in, they don't brag and all this yada yada yada. They're in it with people who are twice their size. It's different. It's different in there when you're looking at 6'2", 280. It's different. You better have some homies with you because you ain't got no extendos. You ain't got no, rubber grip with the, 38 specials. There's none of that in there. Just plastic spoons and toothbrushes that you better sharpen and plenty of fists. Plenty of fists. So these guys, I mean, Young Thug, he might be looking at some serious time. Even the guy who, from his record label, tried to put up $1 million of his own money. People are trying to talk about all the good Young Thug has done in their community, and I do believe he's done some good. But his good is being overshadowed by his bad. And his bad is being constantly repeated by people that he thought was for him, not against. And here's another thing. Everything you say in jail, especially if you're saying it to the prosecutor, is being recorded. That prosecutor is going to manipulate what you say. They're going to do it because they want to over-indict you. For those of you who don't know what an over-indictment is, an indictment is what they're saying that you did. When they over-indict you, they're exacerbating what you did. So let's just say that you went somewhere, you pulled a trigger, you shot one time. They're going to say you went in there, emptied the clip, loaded another clip, and started shooting again. That's what they're going to say until the evidence comes out or your lawyer says, objection, Your Honor. That's hyperbole, and it's simply not true. And then you show the ballistics report that came from, those who do ballistics. And then the prosecutor just simply scratches that. That's it. But if you don't catch it, and you don't have a lawyer who knows the deal, and you didn't spend that $100,000 for ballistics, well, guess what you did? You went in there, you emptied the clip, you reloaded, and you fired off a bunch of other shots. And for each shot, they're going to give you so much time. That's how it goes. That's why when they say anybody who wants to defend themselves in court has a fool for a client. Because you don't know the dangers of the system. You think you can go in there and tell the truth. The courtroom is not about the truth. The courtroom is simply about what you can prove. That's it. If they can prove you came from the moon, then guess where you came from? They can prove it to a jury of your peers without a shadow of a doubt that you are literally from the moon. Then everybody in that courtroom, the jury of your peers is going to you know what? I knew that guy was from the moon the minute I saw him. Yeah, moon people look just like that. They act like that too. You ever saw a moon person? I have. Had dinner with one once. There's going to be a whole story on them, the damn moon people. And everybody be like, yeah, man, I knew those people. They ain't right up there. Why everybody out here knows that it's a damn lie. Hey, but all the jury as peers came to a unanimous decision and said this person came from the moon. This is the trouble that young Jeffrey is in. He's in trouble. Because even if his so-called friends and or counterparts are saying, hey, this is a good man, there is so much on the street that's being said bad about him that they're taking all of that information and using it against him. That's the biggest problem with rap music. Now, Jay-Z and a bunch of other people tried to go down to the state building or whatever and say, hey, you can no longer use rap lyrics in the courtroom against a rapper. This is what they try to get passed. And of course, they got laughed out of there because there is a whole hip hop dossier ever since the 90s. Ever since rap became lucrative, listen, when we were just beating on cans on the side of the road, it was fun. It was cool. The white people can come and dance. It's harmless. When we started beating on them damn drums and taking it into a studio and became millionaires, that's when it became dangerous. Because now there's a whole economic system built around the way you live. We have billionaires now. We have billionaires that came out of talking about the hood. There is no one else on the planet who are billionaires by talking about coming out of the hood and or where they live. Billionaires, there's not one. Tell me there's one. Country music, name me one billionaire that has been singing, that's my wife, that's my dog, that's my, whatever on the front lawn. Tell me one. Yeah. Salute. Tell me one billionaire in country music who is singing about what their life is going through. Because I can tell you a billionaire in hip hop, Dr. Dre. That's what his net worth is. It's $1 billion. It's his net worth. So as soon as hip hop became an economical way for us to not only get out of the hood, but for us to get into real estate, for us to get our build our own schools, to teach us our history instead of absorbing this crazy European nonsense that is constantly putting them first and us behind. I mean, come on. Hip hop music is at the top of the charts now. It's number one music in the whole wide world. And everybody wants a part of it. Country singers want a part of it. Everybody. There is hip hop all over the world now. All over the planet, there's hip hop. You can't tell me there's not. You got African hip hop. You ever hear African hip hop? You got Asian hip hop. Let me tell you something about Asian hip hop. I have no idea what they're saying, but it rhymes. You got European hip hop. You got people in Russia spitting lyrics, all in their own language. And this is the universal truth about hip hop. We don't understand what you're saying, but we understand what you're saying. And we're all going like this listening to you. You got people from India making dope beats. That song about the cat that was on TikTok. And remember, Missy Elliott was using something that was out of India. And Jay-Z was using, matter of fact, Jay-Z got sued for using that boom, 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 boom. Big pimpin', it's just a jigger man, Pimp C and BLADs. That song was from India. India! You know what I'm saying? Remember that? Whatever she said, she meant that. India. Songs out of India. And those people heard that. And they sued Jay-Z for it. It was like, we're going to sue you for a big pimpin', whatever that is, because that song came out of India. Hip hop is everywhere now. Everywhere. Now imagine you're, Young Thug. You come out of the camp of Slim and his brother. Both works, what? What are they worth? $60 million? What a baby, right? And they came from, what? The Hot Boys, right? Lil Wayne and all them. Yeah, those are the Hot Boys. Lil Wayne, all them. Drake was signed to them at one point. Nicki Minaj was doing music with all them. You see how it's just spreading out like a hand? There's a lot of people who are affiliated with these people. A lot. And there are a lot. If you ever seen Drake's house, and Drake falls up under mob ties. And their leader is worth $600 million. It is a web. It is a web of people who are all in this. That's why some of these young boys who go out here and get trouble, this is where you hear, Drake's boss show up and talk about mob ties and go and get their chain back. And it'll happen just like that. What's his name? Jay Prince, the boogeyman of hip hop. I'm trying to tell you this. I've been looking at this for a long time. I've been watching these people for a long, long, long time. That's why I know all this stuff. I'm not even into it, but I watch them. I watch how they move. And listen, I always think the same thing. Your chickens are going to come home to roost. Always. There's no way you're going to go out there and destroy lives, get rich, and then become innocent. All of these gangster rappers from the old, where they tore up our cities, and all the men who lost their lives over these gangster rappers, it's going to come back to them. And I don't feel sorry for none of them. But when I see cases like this, I go, if I'm on the outside, me, and looking in, imagine the people on the inside and looking in. Imagine the feds who have a hip hop dossier. Imagine how much history they know just on you. They know every dollar that you spend. They've been watching you since you were born. They know where you went to middle school, preschool, high school. They know that your church, your family came from. They know everything there is about you. Why? Because they need to know. Why? Because hip hop is dangerous, according to them. Let's look at this. Let's look at Seneca Village. Seneca Village was in New York, right? It was in right there where all those trees, and there are the only trees left. Seneca Village was 75% Black people, and it was partially Irish people and a mixture of other people. And it was thriving. It was an economically thriving place. Well, people in New York didn't like that. So what did they do? They claimed eminent domain and took it over and told all the people to get out. There are a bunch of towns just like that that are buried underwater right now. You never heard of them. They were all places that Black people and other people, but mostly Black people, went. And they built these places up. See, most of us think about Black Wall Street, but there was a Black Wall Street way before the Black Wall Street that we know about. But even if you took Black Wall Street, the same thing happened. And what they do, they tried to cover it up and say it was a racial dispute over a Black man who whistled at a white woman. Why is this always a thing? Come to find out that it never happened, but the white woman actually said, this black guy whistled at me, and the townspeople went crazy. And then there were men who were defending the defendant with weapons, and they were from the military. There were black military men defending the person that these white people came into town looking for. And once you have that kind of opposition, like I said before, Gotham wasn't that terrible until Batman showed up. When you have people who come outside and match your energy, the other person's gonna take it up a notch if they can. And that's how Black Wall Street got wiped out. They wanted a fair trial. They didn't want them to just be hung. And they were like, no, we're from the army. We're gonna protect this kid the best way we can. They said, okay. So they went and brought a bunch of other people and guns and all this other stuff, and boom, it was on. 3,000 people ended up missing. 3,000. This has happened over and over and over and over and over. And if you look at Black Wall Street itself, in Oklahoma, I believe it was a place that was separated and or segregated. And white people would come to the street that separated the two towns, and they would hurl insults at the black people across the street. They couldn't leave us alone. And they would watch them. And the government would watch it grow and watch it prosper. They watch businesses just spring up. Then they watch other people come in there, and they had no worries. There were barbers. The bank was black owned. Everything was black owned. Government did not like that. Wiped them out. This is why hip hop is dangerous. Because even though hip hop is all over the world, hell, Eskimos are probably doing hip hop. Even though it's all over the world, hip hop belongs to us. People can listen. You ever seen Asians breakdance? It's not even breakdancing anymore. It's mostly power moves, flips and turns and martial arts. It's amazing. It's an amalgamation of the truth. It's amazing. It's just amazing. It's beautiful to look at. But as for somebody who came up when hip hop first took it, was taking its baby steps, I can tell you right now that what they're doing, we don't, me and my Rocksteady crew, we wouldn't look at that and go, this person's jamming. We would look at this person and go, you are really, really athletic. But you're so athletic and you've done so much to its original form that it no longer looks like its original form. We would just be amazed at how athletic you are, but we wouldn't say this person's jamming, because nothing you're doing is to the beat to us. You do about 3 or 4 steps of up rocking, and then you go into this collage of just moves that we don't even care to try to do, because it was to the beat to us. It was a way of recognizing our ancestors. It was a movement. It was a way of letting our women know that we have rhythm. Rhythm is important to Black women for a lot of reasons. So this is one reason why I don't even watch hip hop competitions, because it's foreign to me. It's just foreign. I'd rather watch the dude, I'd rather go and watch Crush Groove again and remember what I used to do back in the day. I'm saying hip hop belongs to Black people. I'm not saying only Black people should do it. I'm saying its original form belongs to Black people. It's ours. And we made millions and billions of dollars off of it. And when you go back to, hey, what's going on, Star? I'm doing good today. That's cool. I did some shopping too. Had to get some food. But back to Young Thug. I mean, when you look at, let's do this. Nicki Minaj. She came out of that camp. She came out of that camp. Okay, let's even do this. When 6ix9ine went in and he started singing, who did he mention that surprised everyone? Cardi B. And Cardi B was like, why you mention me? Like, I don't have anything to do with it. However, Cardi B, her most famous song says what in it? These are what kind of shoes? Bloody shoes. You think she was referring to them as being red bottoms? Or do you think she was talking about the Bloods? She was talking about the Bloods. She was telling you that she was gang affiliated. She also made a video of her rapping, standing with a bunch of Bloods in all red. That's why 6ix9ine mentioned her. Because she was like, I ain't got nothing to do with anything. That is not exactly the truth. You are gang affiliated and gang protected. You are a Blood. Now, are you saying stuff to go and stir people up and to cause issues? Absolutely not. But even Cardi B said, I have to watch what I say or people will get me up out of here. Let's go to Nicki Minaj. Let's listen to some of Nicki Minaj's early work. Nicki Minaj wasn't always talking about what's between her legs. She was talking about real hip hop out of Brooklyn type of Queen Bee type of stuff that everybody loves because we love to hear about the streets, especially if you're not from there. But she never said anything about being affiliated. Not that I know of. But we loved where Nicki was. We wanted her to stay right there, but of course, she had to come out with the pink hair, yada, yada. But nonetheless, she came out of the same camp as Young Thug, and a lot of his, the people also came out of that same camp, except she was there before he was. Like I said, her, Drake, Lil Wayne. Let's look at Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne had an interview and he was talking about his flag. And then he pulls out a red flag, letting everybody know right there he was what? Gang affiliated. He said he was a Blood, even though people started questioning him saying, you're not a Blood. Why would he do this? Clout. Then when you look at the person who put him on, Baby claims to be a what? A Blood. Straight up. He's like, red is my color. He claims to be a Blood. So why wouldn't the feds investigate all of these people? Anybody who came out of that camp, why wouldn't they be watching you in everything that you do, especially when you're getting a check for $100 million? Baby said the biggest check he got was for $100 million. Why wouldn't they be watching you? From the time you came out talking about you was hot boys, why wouldn't they be watching you? They've been watching you. They've been watching y'all. They've been watching y'all for years. They have a dossier on all of you. And there's some people who got wise to the game. And I believe Nicki Minaj is one of them. You don't hear her talking about no gang affiliation. As a matter of fact, she went the whole opposite route. Everything she did turned into pop. To the beach, take me to the beach. I didn't even know that was her until I saw the video. Had the Pink Barbie tour and took it to the next level. The whole Anaconda thing, took it to the next level. She left it behind. When Safari gave her issues, what she did? She cut them off. When Meek Mills got in trouble, what happened? She cut him off. She's like, I gotta go. Same thing J-Lo did to Puffy. When Puffy got in trouble, J-Lo said, I'm out of here because I am not affiliated. I don't want nothing to do with this. Nicki got the hell out of there. And she took a fast track to pop. She still raps, she's still dope, all that good stuff. But listen to what she raps about. She raps about women, envying her and her hair and her style and all that. You don't hear nothing come out of her mouth talking about putting somebody else in danger and telling other people to put you in danger. She doesn't do it. If she's mad at you like she was an academic, she'll say, drop an address. Or she'll yell at you, call you all kind of MFers, stuff like that, or she'll just ignore you. But she don't get no video with no Draco. She don't pull no nines. She don't do none of that because she's smart. She knew she was being watched. She knew it. Lil Wayne once asked her, why aren't him and her hooking up? Let's get this under perspective. Lil Wayne has a child with Lauren London. Lauren London was married to who? Nipsey Hussle. You think Nipsey Hussle got taken out over an argument? Everybody wanted Lauren London. Lil Wayne had a child with her, or has a child with her. I'm just saying, there's a whole web that these people have been following. And they know you from the beginning all the way up until the end. They know you. And they've been in your pockets from day one. And the things that you're doing, you think you're doing in secret, you're not. Because they're influencing some of the things that you do. And they'll take you in, keep you for a couple months, maybe a year, let you go right back out in the street. Why? To create street buzz. They know that street cred is one of the biggest things in hip hop. People don't believe you unless they see that you've been through something. Hell, some women won't even talk to a guy because he's too square. He could be a brain surgeon. No. Let this dude have 2 bullet wounds. It'll be all over him. All over him. All over him. That's why these guys got these names that are just ridiculous. And you're like, we know you've never done anything like that. Uzi Vert. Little Uzi Vert. I mean, you guys are leaving. I see you guys are leaving. So, okay, that's my hour's almost up anyway. But let me just say this. Little Uzi Vert. I happen to like one of his songs. Why is he called Little Uzi Vert? Why? Is he notorious for using a Uzi? No, it's clout. It's street cred. An Uzi 9mm. That's what an Uzi. It's a weapon. As a matter of fact, it's a dangerous weapon because it's an automatic weapon. That's what an Uzi is. It's an automatic weapon that people use to spray down whole crowds of people at once. That's what it is. Why wouldn't you just name yourself Little Vert? But it's Little Uzi, meaning you have street cred and you're dangerous in some kind of way. You're notoriously dangerous in the street. Your hit song is talking about you don't really care if somebody cries. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. I don't really care if you cry. The street sweeper. There you go. Little Uzi. There was a guy around here. His name was Uzi. Because he used an Uzi. As a matter of fact, there was a whole project named after him. He was a local drug dealer. And a project that he lived in, I also lived in. And those projects were called Uzi Alley. They named it after this guy. The original name of the projects were Greenbrier. They tore those projects down. They tore everything down that reminded anybody of this guy after they arrested him. Yeah, those names helped you get convicted. They tore those projects down. Everybody who used to live there is gone. They're all old and, like me, chilling out somewhere. Uzi himself is dead. They even cut the trees down that were there. They flattened that whole place. Now a high school is there. Dare somebody to go up to that high school acting a fool. They would get clipped real quick. They rebuilt a bunch of places around it. There's a brand new VA hospital right across the street from it. Oh, you're not messing around over there. You're not going to do it. You are not going to do it. Not with that brand new school that's built there. Are they going to protect those kids today? I don't even go over there. I don't mess around over there at all. I don't go, I used to go to high schools and run, because I like to run. But now I'm very leery of, I don't do it unless the high school is out, like for the summer. And I know there's not going to be anybody there and there are other adults that are there. Then I feel comfortable. But just by myself, I don't feel comfortable by myself around a high school. I don't. I was out when you did the video of the shooting. I'll watch it. Yeah, it's only 30 minutes long. It's shorter. But yeah, I don't feel comfortable around high schools. Because nowadays, single males are a threat to everyone. For some reasons known, other reasons it's just hyperbole and conjecture. You're just making stuff up. But it's easy to target a single male. It is. I even seen one story where these women did not like the way this guy looked and had him arrested because he looked weird. He was a white guy. And the women felt satiated because this weirdo was off the street. They locked him up for 2 days and let him go. They shouldn't have arrested him at all. He got arrested simply because he looked weird. He wasn't dressed weird. He wasn't dressed weird. He didn't do something weird. He didn't say nothing to these women. They just thought he was weird. They called the cops on him. And the thing about it is because they say his eyes was beady or something, and he was walking around, broad daylight, walking around the street where everybody else can walk around. They had the cops arrest this man and take him away. He lived in that area. What do you want him to do? So I'm very, very leery of going around high schools because one false accusation and you could, and the police are on hyper mode right now. It can end for you badly. Nobody wants to use sense and sensibility, but and I know when I'm not wanted. People give me that look and they stare at me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I could say, what the hell are you staring at? Get into a whole tiff with them. But the police will say, hey, you're the problem. And in Ohio, you have to identify yourself. So I don't want to be investigated just because I'm standing somewhere minding my damn business. But that's what people do here. That's what they do here. Hell, I don't suggest any single man. You can't go to a park. Hell, I used to go up to this rec center, this YMCA. I can go there for free. I went up there one day. The kids were out, adults, everybody was there. They have 2 pools, one indoor, one outdoor. I did my thing indoor and I went outside to, chill, look at my, stocks. You know me, you know how I do. I'm with my sunglasses on, just chilling, and I notice this white woman staring at me. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. She didn't take her eyes off me. She thought that I was taking pictures of children. That's what she thought. But she didn't get up and say anything to me. Because she'd have been wrong, and it would have been a whole scene. I was looking at my stocks. But they think whenever you have a phone, there's a bunch of kids around, any single man. If I was a woman, she would have never looked at me like that. Any single man. I'm doing like this. Here's my phone. I'm looking at my... Plus, I'm looking at my Facebook because that's where my business is. I'm watching to see if somebody needs a refrigerator. I'm talking to somebody about a refrigerator. This woman is still staring at me. And I knew she was staring at me. And I was like, don't. And I said, if this woman comes over here and says something to me, I'm going to light her ass up. I'm going to embarrass the hell out of her. If she does a Karen and let me see your phone, I'll be like, lady, I'll let you see my phone. But you better get the hell out of my face. You better get your stupid, dumbass out of my... Every person is not interested in whatever the hell you think they are. Some people just like to be, they're just on chill mode. Every guy doesn't care about some teenage goofy girl. You have no idea how annoying kids are to us. We don't want nothing to do with them. You got kids. You go over there and handle them. We don't want nothing to do with them. We don't want nothing to do with them. Now, do I love to see families? Yes, and that's why I was sitting out there. I was getting some sun. Families were playing. I thought I was part of the community. Obviously, I wasn't. I was unwanted. I haven't been back there because I felt unwanted. I'm not a part of their community. This place was not built for me. And that white woman let me know, you're not welcome here. This is how I feel when I go to some other places. They let me know you're not welcome here. When I go to some neighborhoods, you'll get people to stop and stare at you. You're not welcome here. I've even had people around here do the same thing, but I just don't pay them no mind. I just keep walking with my head up because I pay rent here. You can kiss my ass. Oh, I'm welcome here because I pay rent here. So yeah. Single men have to be careful. When we go to parks and we have cameras, don't do it. If a woman has a camera, nobody cares. If a man has a camera, he's trying to do something to somebody. There are weirdos out there, but hey, we're finding out that a lot of these teachers are weird. There's some weird ass female teachers, and they're doing weird stuff to people. They're weird. But y'all ain't saying nothing to them because these little boys is doing all kind of stuff to them, but nobody cares. Well, she's weird. She's doing more harm than I ever will. Anyways, that's my time. I'll come back and do some music if you guys want. Peace.